I was told I had to wear a bra, so I did. This happened last week. I was swimming laps at an indoor pool near my house. I'm a woman who has had a double mastectomy without reconstruction. My chest is flat. I'm totally comfortable with how I look, but prefer for my scars to be covered in public. As far as swimming goes, women's suits have extra material to accommodate typical chests, so when I wear them, they're baggy. For backyard swimming, I just use a couple safety pins to keep it in place. For lap swimming, it balloons open like a parachute full of water and creates so much drag that it's difficult to swim. Tight competition swimsuits don't have enough coverage for the way the scars wrap around my sides under my arms. To get around this, I wear running shorts and a tight-fitting, full-coverage synthetic fabric dark-colored tank top. It works great. Last week I was approached as I left the pool facility by a worker. He said that they had received a complaint that a woman in the pool was wearing a shirt, which is allowed, but no sports bra underneath. He then said their policy requires women who are not in swimsuits to have sports bras under their shirt. He told me that the policy started when they had a problem where a woman would come in to swim and only wear a thin white shirt and no bra in the pool during family swim hours. I explained politely that I've had a double mastectomy and do not need a bra. I said that swimsuits don't fit me and my top is very dark and not see-through. Plus, even if it was see-through, all anyone would see are scars. He said he understood and felt bad, but the management requires that the dress code be followed. I explained how I was much more covered up than anyone else in the pool and in fact was wearing exactly what he was minus the whistle. He was in shorts and a tank top. There were guys in there with just tight-fitting swim bottoms on and women in bikinis. I look Amish next to them. He again said he was sorry, but couldn't make an exception to the rules. I asked for the rules in writing, and he gave me a printout, which did say what he was telling me. This brings us to yesterday. I dug a sports bra out of a bin of old clothes and brought it with me. I wore the same shorts and top otherwise. When I got in the water, I put the band of the bra around my head with the strap sticking up like bunny ears. People in the other lanes got a kick out of it once I explained what I was doing. I started warming up with my kickboard thinking the guy would come over and we would sort this nonsense out. Well, a lady in business clothes comes over and tells me I need to take the bra off my head. I would like to say here that this was adult lap swim. There were no kids in the pool area. I explained it all to her and said I was following the rule to the letter. I was wearing a bra, which is all that is required. We went back and forth with her saying I knew it had to be worn normally. I said I couldn't wear it the way others do, because I don't have anything to fill it, and it would ride up to my chin while swimming without anything to hold it in place. She said I could use skin-safe glue. Yeah, no. I'm not going to glue unnecessary garments to my body, and I told her as much. I finally said that unless she could state the rule I was breaking, that I would like to continue with my workout so I could get home to my kids and let the babysitter go home. She walked away. I swam for an hour with that bra perched on my head. Lots of readjusting it and once retrieving it from the bottom of the pool. Then showered and went home. This morning I checked my email, which is linked to my membership at the Aquatic Center, to find a message from her. They will not be changing their policies, but I have been granted a special exception to the rule provided I continue to wear non-see-through tops. I wish they would have just gotten rid of the silly bra rule, but I'll take this. And if I ever see another woman struggling with their swimsuit over a flat chest, I'll let them know they can wear something more comfortable. Story 2. Well, this is Red Lobster, and we do things the Red Lobster way. Said by my manager before navigating us by the book straight into a blizzard of shit. This happened several years ago, and I'm forever relieved I don't work in a restaurant anymore. Solidarity to all kitchen workers for the endless bullshit you have to deal with. At the time, I was working in the kitchen as an assembler. This can be one of the most clutch positions on the line, as you take all the food being prepared by the other cooks and organize it into tickets that can be taken out into the dining room. Accordingly, it is often a bottleneck for food leaving the kitchen. If you have a slow assembler, cooked food dies under the heating lamps. Grilled salmon dries out, fries become soggy, linguine Alfredo hardens into concrete, really horrific shit. It is imperative that food not sit in the window. I was working a weekday lunch shift, which is normally pretty slow. We must have provoked the wrath of the restaurant gods on this day, though, because out of nowhere, the store got hit with a tsunami of customers. I could just barely make out the other cooks through the clouds of shrimp scampi, fryer grease, and Cheddar Bay biscuits flying through the air. I knew the shit blizzard was headed my direction and began putting empty plates up in the window with the shape of each ticket that was to leave the kitchen. a technique I had learned to help survive bullshit like this. On the other side of the window, coordinating the servers, was my manager, Cuntface. Shouldn't use his real name, actually. Let's call him Bob instead. Bob was a bit hyperactive and had an irritating tendency to micromanage kitchen processes, a problem compounded by his not knowing how the fuck to run a kitchen. When I began putting empty plates in the window so that the incoming interstellar-sized wave of seafood had something to land on, he stopped me. "What are you doing?" Bob asked. "I'm putting the plates in their sides in the window because we're about to have a very high volume of food coming through," I replied. "Well, this is Red Lobster, and here we do the things the Red Lobster way. We plate the food when the food is ready, and we don't put sides on early." I tried explaining that the Red Lobster way was designed by sentient suits and ties physically incapable of holding a spatula, that our sacred way, as dictated in the Good Book of Employee Training, had died in the trenches of last year's endless shrimp special. That while I appreciated the job, I wasn't prepared for an honorable death at the hands of this rush to uphold its most obscure tenets. But he wasn't having any of it. Bob insisted that I take the plates out of the window and only pass him plates and tickets that were 100% completed. Knowing full well that Bob was flying us by the book into a storm of shit, I put on a feces-resistant raincoat, rubbed some Vicks under my nose, and braced for impact. 30 minutes later, the window was chaos. Finished food was left dying in the wings of the window, while I, swiftly enough to avoid reprimand, but with the fatalistic mechanical motion of a flood pump removing water at a fraction of the rate at which it's arriving, plated up one finished ticket at a time. Bob was equal parts confused and furious, like a toddler whose toy was suddenly taken away. "What's this food waiting on?" he cried, gesturing towards a shriveled-up steak and its associated sides. "Well, that order is waiting on some fried shrimp, and I need to wait for the ticket to be complete before I plate it up." "Why is the ticket missing fried shrimp?" "Unfortunately, I'm not manning the fryer, sir, so I don't know." This continued for the better part of an hour. It seemed like every ticket was missing one little thing that kept it from leaving the kitchen. After the rush had passed and I was dumping its precipitated liquid shit from my galoshes, Bob approached me with the twitchy, nervous energy of a coked-up boxer. Well, that, or a hyper-caffeinated, insecure manager who needed to assert his dominance over the underpaid crew of some bunk-ass seafood restaurant. "Can I, speak to you in the walk-in for a moment /you/names, Rue?" "Sure thing." We walked to the cooler as I struggled to remember how to fight off an attacker armed with a kitchen knife from my days in dish. "So, what happened back there?" Bob asked, arms folded, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. "You said we should follow the system, and we did," I replied, mentally noting that he was standing in front of the walk-in's only exit. "But there were a lot of missed items on those tickets. We had food dying in the window." "I saw it, yeah, it was pretty bad." "So why was the food missing?" "I don't know. I wasn't cooking the food, I was assembling it. I am the assembler." This line of questioning continued, with Bob trying to somehow pin the catastrophe of the last hour on my willingness to comply with his orders, while I blithely insisted that I did exactly what was asked of me. After not being able to move past this point for several minutes, Bob made some sweeping statement about doing better next time, and left. Incidentally, the next time I was assembling and Bob was on the other side of the window, nothing was said about the Red Lobster way, and the rush went smoother, albeit with some hotter plates and servers having to return for delayed items. I guess we ended up doing better after all.